All right, so instead of the 6 to 10 inches, we're going to be going for something a little bit different today. Something more in the range of 20, 35 inches, something like that. And let's say 20 to 30 pounds. So what I'm talking about is we're going for some king salmon today. Honestly, we're in a part of the river system where I didn't even know they were up in yet. And then one of my friends who's with me today, Max, see them pretty white legs, he was telling me the report that people are catching and hooking into king salmons up this far. So they're in from Lake Michigan, so we're gonna get in here and see what we can do. But here's the result of not bringing waders. As you can see, his white legs, well, I'm in shorts as well. So it's gonna get a little chilly, but he was feeling generous and suffering with me because I forgot my waders. But to be honest, I had planned on doing some boat fishing with him and his dad, but his dad went and threw his back out, so there goes that. So we're gonna get our feet wet here and see what we can do. All right, we'll see you out there. So here's the problem with walking rivers in southern Michigan without waders is poison ivy. I got poison ivy one time so bad at salmon camp that I had to wear gloves at work for at least 5 weeks. My hands were like hamburger meat. Oh, it was so bad. I swore I'd never start another fire on the bank again with this type of with that vegetation with poison ivy everywhere. It wasn't fun. But yeah, that was miserable. I don't want to do that again. But anyways, so the size of the river we're in is not that big, see? But there's some deep runs, little deeper runs over there, some decent avenues for the kings to come up on. Well, I know about a week ago, people were seeing them more and more and actually hooking into them. But now we're not so sure. I mean, they're going to be sporadic. They're actually, as the rain comes in, weather changes a little bit. They stage in the big lake before they come on into the rivers. But we have had some decent weather for them to start pushing up. So we'll see. Hopefully here, as it gets towards, a little bit later in the day, we'll start seeing more. But right now, not seeing a whole lot. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to try. So, but yeah, let's see if we can get into these one of these big lunkers. And what's nice about now is we're hitting it at a time where there's not a lot of people here. At the beginning of salmon season, you can come down to places like this and not have too much competition. But I will say this. I am not looking forward to getting in that water. I know it's cold, and once we get in it, there's no warming up until we get back to the car. So, but hey, you don't catch fish by standing on the bank. I mean, yes, you can. However, to get to that little spot over there, that little deep run, I'm gonna have to get a little wet and see what we can drum up. Now the thing is with salmon. Well, hang on. I'm gonna set you up here for a second. Get in that hole, and I'll put my other camera on, and then we'll continue this chat for a second. All right. Well, it's time to get in. This water does not look friendly. Well, as far as like temperature wise, especially with that rain that just came in last night. But we're gonna head over there, see if we can hit that deep hole without getting any too many snags. But yeah, all right, time to get cold. Oh yeah, that's refreshing right there. All right. So what I have on is I go with braided line, 30-pound test, and I have 15-pound mono on the end of it here for a leader. And then what we're using today is we're using thunder sticks. So I'm doing a deep dive, even though it's not too deep here. I'm doing a deep dive because we have a bunch of little holes like this, and typically you want to get down to them as fast as you can. The interesting thing about salmon is that they're not feeding right now. They're just coming up the rivers to mate or to spawn. So what we're trying to do is getting a reactionary hit here by more or less pissing them off, making them upset. And so this is what this thunder stick is made to do. Now you'll see at times, I'm going to do another video in a couple weeks at salmon camp, and you'll see boats where they're using actually bobbers. They're floating spawn sacks down through the holes. Now what doesn't make sense to me is that they are not eating at this point. So why did they hit the spawn sacks? I don't know why. If you know the answer to that, chime in, let me know. But anyways, all right. Just make sure I don't have anything that's going to get wet and get ruined. Everything's good. Whew, it's a little chilly. All right. Not a good cast. See, something's hitting the top water here. And the thing is, what you don't know about is all the snags. Especially when you come somewhere you're not really familiar with. This is actually my first time on this river, but it happens to be my buddy's one of his favorite spots. See, that deep diver gets right down real quick. All right, let's try it. I don't know if that something hit it or what, but I saw color. Weird. Let's try to get up over there again. Well, the good thing about standing in the river right now is my legs are already acclimated to it. It's not actually that bad. But for some reason, this is not liking the cast. We can't have that, or else we're not going to be catching fish. And the thing with salmon is that you can throw multiple times in a hole because they come up staging and they're not easily spooked. You got to remember, these are 20, 30-pound fish, and they're not too afraid of much. All right, now if I can get everything working here. Reel, lure. See again. All right, moving on. Again, the biggest problem is just trying to avoid the snags. Whew, all right. All right, here we go. So as we come into more of the fall season, fishing is going to be a little different. I think trout season is done at the end of this month, September. And then we'll be getting more into salmon, steelhead, stuff like that. But this is some of my favorite fishing. I do like the catch and cooks and eat fish, but with salmon and steelhead, I don't do as much of that. Honestly, the salmon, if I do catch one out of the river here at this time of the year, I'll, ouch, oh, thorns on the legs, not good. Anyways, salmon in the fall time when they get in the rivers are kind of, I don't think they're the firmest meat. In my opinion, a little mushy. And I really like them when they're, like, if I grill a salmon, I like them out of the lake fresh. But when it's in the rivers, usually I'll smoke them. Nothing wrong with smoking them. Great flavor. I have a place in town that I take them to, and they'll smoke them for me. That's basically the best way to have salmon out of the river at this point when they're about to die, that they're into their cycle, stuff like that. I mean, they'll go out to Lake Michigan and survive for about 5 to 7 years, and then they'll come back into the river to spawn. So when they're at the end of their life cycle, that's also a reason why they don't eat. No, I haven't seen anything. I'm actually going to put the camera down here in the water, and let's hope the river doesn't take you with it. So again, basically with these things, you're just trying to get it in front of them and just get a response strike, get them angry at what we're doing here. All depending on if they're down there, of course. And see, that's the one thing about the last video I was talking about, was the human element and doing this type of stuff. How you guys doing? Good. But most of the time, again, 99% of the time, you're going to run into people that are usually pretty good. I mean, typically, I want to think that people who fish, hunt, have a certain moral code, and the majority of us do. But every once in a while, that other side of the human condition comes around, and just makes it uncomfortable for everybody. But like these guys walking by and the other people we've already come across, I mean, everyone's pretty friendly. You know, hey, what have you seen? Have you caught any? Stuff like that. And everyone, for the most part, pretty good with sharing. And honestly, that's the way it should be. So again, I don't want to discourage anyone from getting out of here, because again, most of the time it is like that. Friendly interactions, but everyone moves on their way. No one overstays their welcome, and you know what? There's a good balance. Here's the thing about salmon fishing in these little rivers, is when you hook into one of these animals in this little river, it's a fight. I mean, I remember the first time coming down here and doing this type of stuff, and the friend I went with didn't tell me that we were going for salmon. And me coming from all the river systems I'm used to, I never have seen anything really huge in the river systems, little like this. And so when we got in the river, it was just about as big as this, a little bit smaller. And threw my fly. I had like I don't know, purple leech pattern on the fly. Threw it out there, and then what happened next? My friend was like, "You should have seen the look on your face." I had no idea that there were salmon in little rivers like this. And so when that king hit my fly, I didn't know what to do. I had it on for maybe 10 seconds, and then snap. I just looked at him like, what just happened? But if you've never done this type of fishing, or have ever caught one of these big kings in one of these little rivers, it's a blast. I mean, you hold on, because it's a ride. And not only that, but they give you a show. You'll see them jumping out of the water, trying to get away from you. It's, again, salmon fishing these little rivers, it's a treat. I've been walking in little rivers like this, and all of a sudden one would just bump into your leg, and you're like, oh my goodness. Again, 20-30 pounds in a little river like this, it's pretty cool. But yeah, when they hit your legs, it's interesting. 'Cause it's not like a light hit. They'll bump into you pretty hard.
Can you see the bottom of it?
Yeah, now that I can see your lure going through, I don't see anything swimming back and forth.
Typical fishing there, buddy. Hey, should we go do last?
It's always the week before. Yeah. I mean, look at the size of those thorns. Oh, and I'm stuck in them. Just not across the neck. Yeah, if it's not the prickers, it's the poison ivy. Oh, it's the only thing I don't like about Michigan river systems. The poison ivy that is everywhere. I know I just harped on that earlier, but it's everywhere. That's why I like the cedar swamps, because there is no poison ivy. They don't like all that acidity. Just these things want to be launched. And here, I'm going to do a little underhand. See if that makes a difference. See, that's about as perfect as you can get. Right up on that shore. Yeah, well, looks like I figured it out by flipping it underhand versus overhand. I haven't had one foul up yet doing this way. Oh! Except for that one.
Is it brookie? See it?
Oh, yeah?
Did you see it?
Yeah. Come on. See, right after I say something, 2 fouls. Really? That was dumb. Oh, I'm gonna love dealing with poison ivy in about 4 days. I mean, how great is it that just walking the river in our shoes, in shorts. Everyone else is in waders. But beautiful day. I mean, honestly, now that we're wet, it's not that bad. Sun's hitting us. Yeah, that's all. Oh. The bank gave way, dude. That wasn't my fault. Bank gave way. Well, there's my first fall. I mean, I wasn't in the water, just on the bank, but that was my first fall. Well, actually, I did fall in the boat. I just didn't fall out of it, so I didn't think that counted. But remember, we were 20 years old. We never had an issue with our balance.
I was always fucked with my guy.
How much further do you usually go down?
I've never gone this far.
Oh.
Never stopped back there.
Yeah, there's no fish. This might be one of them short videos. That's the thing is, at this time of the year, or at the beginning of September, it's a hit or miss with the salmon because they're not fully staging into the lakes or into the rivers. In about 2 to 3 weeks, they'll be in here pretty thick. And then when when I do the salmon camp part, I mean, I'll have the video on and I'll show you. Pretty active. They're usually jumping out of the rivers, you know, teasing us. But we should get a couple of those on camera. I don't think as a group we've ever been skunked. Better knock on some wood there. But yeah, usually productive. Some years better than others. Real quick, let me knock on that. There we go. I don't want a bunch of dudes pissed off at me because I jinxed us. Usually about 10 or it was around 10 plus or minus 2 when it comes to fish camp. So could have went pier fishing. At least there we know they're staging. Talks me into coming down here in the river.
Wouldn't be wet.
He's like, a couple days ago it was perfect. Again, should have been here the other day. I mean, when they're in here thick sometimes. I mean, you'd look in something like that, and you'd see 15, 20 of them.
You want to keep heading down or want to?
I don't think there's anything in here.
No, me either. I'm sorry, dude. I thought there was.
That's all right. Not quite done. Once we get back to closer to the parking lot, we'll try a little bit more over there and see what happens. But yeah, hey, you know, again, it's not always catching. So it's called fishing.
You want to see our?
What do you do?
We'll walk back.
All right, so we're at a spot where the salmon like to stage up before they jump up into that upper fall. So we're going to throw through here. Let's see if someone's home. I don't know. But it's a nice little deep hole, so. You like that? Ah, that was just about a perfect of a cast as you could get. Honestly, I should have brought my fly rod. Today would have been a great day with a fly rod. See a lot of floaters, a lot of people, seen a lot of rises. But yeah, today would have been a great day with the fly rod. Yeah, you would think that if they're up here, they'd be staged right here for a minute. That's the thing about these, right? They're always on the move. There's certain fishing etiquette that should be applied when salmon fishing. Because what happens a lot of times is people will get right next to each other, stacked up. There's certain courtesy that should be given. I mean, I don't want to be rubbing elbows with somebody. I don't mind giving people their space. But sometimes you get some people and talk about that human element. Let's just say last year, someone down on a certain part of a river in southwest Michigan was actually stabbed in one of these incidences where it's called combat fishing. Again, people are stacked up in a hole. Certain times people do things that are beyond me, but got someone stabbed about a year ago though. So again, sometimes shit happens out here. It's dumb. Sometimes it happens. Ah! Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. No. Not gonna let that tree win. That's a $9 lure. Something like that. They're not cheap. Huh? Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that, see? So, somewhere they took their fillets and they threw the rest of them back in. But that's how big they get. How big do you think that is? What, 30 inches, 35? Probably a 20-pound fish. But that's the size of those things and how they get. Wasn't joking around when I said they get big. Ah! I knew it right as they went under. Got my rig back. All right, gave it a shot. It was a nice day. Be out in the river, but just they weren't up here yet. So in a couple more weeks, they'll be up here. So again, we're going to go up to salmon camp here in a couple weeks. It's pretty much a 5-day or 4-day camping out in the middle of the woods with a bunch of friends. And sometimes if the weather is warmer, we'll just, you know, sometimes have a little party up on the bank, get some fishing in, and hopefully I can show you one of those, but one that's alive and tugging on the other end of the line. But anyways, okay, we're gonna get out of here. Until next time, peace.